up fell into the Queen Mother. Pride then in the lead by 2 lengths. Special Cargo under pressure, but starts to eat up the ground now. Inside the final furlong, and Special Cargo comes with a tremendous run, and Special Cargo comes through on the inside, and Special Cargo gets the post in time. It's a battle between these two. Hypnosis forges ahead, but Insula now under pressure, and Insula starts to respond, and Insula responding gamely. Infielder finishing fast in third, but Insula goes up towards the line. It's going to be a double for the Queen Mother. This Insula wins in a photo for second. The Argonaut on the far side with the white face, Royal to Do, and Royal to Do on the near side, jockey with the white cap on the far side, the Argonaut, and the Argonaut surges ahead. This could be a treble for the Queen Mother. The Argonaut going on from Royal to Do in second place, and the Argonaut gets there. A treble for the Queen Mother. The Argonaut wins it.
It's one of the real sports, isn't it, that's left to us, I think. A bit of danger and a bit of excitement. And the horses, which are the best thing in the world, isn't it? So I suppose I've always loved them, really, ever since I was a little girl. And trouble is one gets too fond of them sometimes. You know, you hate to see anything happening to them, which is, I suppose everybody feels, really.
The amount of time Queen Elizabeth spends on racing obviously must depend a great deal on her many other activities. She will always go racing when she's got a runner, if she can possibly get to a race course without chucking another engagement. She's extremely knowledgeable on form, runners, competence of jockeys, and she never consults anybody except her trainer on the technical side of whether a horse shall run. There has never been a time when she's had a runner when whatever the weather is like, she won't go and watch him being saddled in the paddock beforehand and go and welcome him afterwards.
200. The 85 40.
7 2.
I'd always wanted to have a horse for steeplechasing. And of course, the Queen is very keen on the flat. So I thought I'd just have a horse and see. And of course, I got hooked, absolutely. And had fun ever since. It was just after the war, really. It was Lord Mildmay, actually, who made me enthusiastic.
Queen Elizabeth's interest in steeplechasing started at a Royal Ascot meeting in, I think, 1948 or 49, when both Lord Mildmay and Peter Cazalet were staying as the guests of the then King George VI and Queen Elizabeth, who was then Queen, at Ascot. And in the course of that visit to Ascot, they enthused Queen Elizabeth to break away from the royal tradition, as it has been in recent years, of having only flat race interests and to embark on her own in steeplechasing. It was an Irish horse, Monaveen, which sparked it all off. Shortly afterwards, the Queen Mother, fired with enthusiasm, bought Manitou, who followed Monaveen's fine example with splendid successes in his own right. This led on to Devon Lock, who was a runner in the Grand National in 1956.
About 250,000 people at Aintree. That proves the popularity of the National. This year, Her Majesty the Queen graced the occasion by her presence, accompanied by the Queen Mother and Princess Margaret. There's no draw for places in the National, and after temperamental runners have been got into line, the starter sends them away. It's a field of 29, and we travel with them on the gallop to the first jump. One of the most crucial in the whole race. Memorial 3 and Demata are first over, but 4 come to grief. They're early missed, High Guard, the only grey, Must and Reverend Prince. 29 more fences to be jumped, most of about 4.5 miles to be covered, and the camera still alongside the field. A new angle on the race, this.
I was beginning to think, even on the first circuit, well, look, I'm going to win this race, because he was putting me so full of confidence. It was a fantastic feeling because Devon Lock was really stretching himself and going into the air. And then we went to the canal turn, and as most jockeys tried to do, you sort of jump it on an angle so that you're getting a little bit of ground going around the turn.
Into the country now for the start of the second round, with Armorial still going beautifully.
Jack Dowdeswell was still leading on Armorial, leading us in Merry Dance. He was too. He was about 10 or 12 lengths in front. And going out towards Beeches on the second circuit, you could see Armorial coming back. I wasn't really worried about him because I knew I'd beat him in time.
Delayed action gives a fine impression of how to take the slightly modified Beeches, and Sundew makes his mistake.
Sundew went with Fred Winter. I was in the position I wanted to be, and I moved Devon Lock up to tackle Armorial.
Now Devon Lock is after him. Yes, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother's well-fancied Devon Lock came into the picture at this stage and jumped the canal turn second with Eagle Lodge. This was, of course, a big thrill for everyone at Aintree. Was it going to be a royal victory?
I didn't want to take the lead then, so Armorial and I jumped Valentine's together. But the fence after Valentine's, Armorial went.
Over the 26th jump, and Armorial is down, Armorial is out of it. And the way is definitely clear for Devon Lock to take command from now on.
Every stride which Devon Lock was taking, he was going further away from the opposition. I didn't have to look round, but I could feel it over my shoulders that they weren't anywhere near me.
The incredible has happened, and only 50 yards from the post. The crowd is stunned as ESB goes on to win. An appalling moment for Devon Lock's jockey, Dick Francis.
After I was changed and spoke to Peter Cassells in the weighing room, he said, well, we'd better go up and see the royal family. And they asked me what had happened. And I didn't really know, but there couldn't be anyone more philosophical than the Queen Mother. And she said, well, that's racing. I'm convinced it was the noise because, you know, it was a fantastic noise. There were 250,000 people there that day, and I think 249,999 were cheering for the Queen Mother, the most popular owner ever.
The tragedy of Devon Lock did not deter his owner, who in fact added to the number of horses she had in training at Fairlawn with Peter Caslitt, whose stable jockey at that time was David Mould.
Fairlawn from 17 was my home and my life. It was everything. I came in 57 and I worked here until the governor died in 73. The discipline was very hard, but everyone knew the score. No one was given any quarter and no one asked for it. We had 15 altogether in the yard. The head lads, the travelling head lads, the gallop man and a yard man and a tack man. We never cleaned tack. The yard was ruled by the clock. You know, 6 o'clock when it struck, we had to be in the yard. And 1 o'clock we were allowed out for lunch. And then we worked in the evenings from 4 till 6. 6 o'clock was feed time, then we could go back upstairs.
In the early years, almost all the Queen Mother's winners were trained by Peter Caslitt, whose splendid achievements were wonderfully maintained right up to the time of his tragic death in 1973.
Mr. Caslitt was a good trainer, and he was very strict. Great discipline in the stables, you know.
After Peter Caslitt's death, the horses were moved to Lambourne in Berkshire, to the stables of Fulk Warwin.
Well, I knew Peter Caslitt and Anthony Malway. We're great friends. Anthony was out riding when I was riding as an amateur. And Peter did before he started to train. And I stayed there a bit, but I never thought I was really in the running for training the Queen Mother's horses. We had to keep it quiet until we heard again, and we didn't hear again for about a fortnight. And Then we heard the good news. I think the Queen Mother's got a good future. I hope to keep it up to the same standard anyway. She's got some nice new horses, which she's bred, and I think they're promising. And will win races, and one or two might be good. And I'm sure she enjoys it all, and will go on forever, I hope. The Queen Mother comes to Saxon House fairly often. It varies according to what's going on, you know. She knows most of the older lads. In fact, all of the ones, we've got a few new boys this year, but all the old ones she knows well, and especially the ones who do her horses.
It's exciting, thrilling, seeing the legs are all right. One always loves to go and see the horses.
You know Jackie and...
The lads are very good and get them very calm, and it's always a great experience.
Now here's the old...
boy.
The old boy.
Well, actually, House made a mistake. Special Cargo is rallying on the inside. They've got one to jump in the Whitbread, and there's nothing to choose between Plundering and Let Off. Very little to choose between the two. Plundering on the near side, Let Off on the far side. At the last, they took it together, landed together, with Diamond Edge racing in between these horses again. It's Plundering, Let Off, Diamond Edge rallying, Special Cargo coming on the run, and Diamond Edge is coming through. Diamond Edge just coming through to Shane Let Off. Special Cargo finishing well, a three-way photo with the Whitbread. What a fantastic finish, Diamond Edge, Special Cargo and Let Off. These three in a photo, and Kevin Mooney thinks that he's won on Special Cargo, giving a victory salute, but it's a three-way photo for the outcome of the Whitbread Gold Cup between number 10, Special Cargo there, Kevin Mooney shaking Bill Smith's hand. You'd have to travel 1,000,000 miles to see a better race. Let's review it again.
I honestly have never seen a finish as exciting as this. Let Off at this stage really looks like winning. And look over at the far side, two gallant sights from Fulk Walwyn's stable, Diamond Edge rallying as he did in 1981, and Special Cargo doing the same a little further over. Look at those royal colours. This amazing horse, with his legs which have had such awful things go wrong with them, now they're carrying him up the hill faster than any of his three rivals. Can he win for Queen Elizabeth? Diamond Edge has got in front now. But here comes Special Cargo. The post is just coming up. The angle's desperately difficult. You honestly wouldn't know. It's Diamond Edge, Let Off and Special Cargo. They cross the line head to head. It looks to me a little bit as though Special Cargo's won. Yes, it was number 10. It was Special Cargo. So now this is the most important steeplechase Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, has ever won. It's her first victory in the Whitbread. It's Fulk Walwyn's 7th. And there's Kevin Mooney coming back on Special Cargo. What a heart this horse must have.
Special Cargo is a great favourite of the Queen Mother's. He's won 12 races altogether, and he's got the worst looking legs in the world. But he still seems to keep going.
in looking very well, much better than he looked last year. And we're only walking him at the moment. We're going to give him a month's walking. And in about 10 days, we're going to start trotting him. And at the moment, he seems absolutely fine.
He's done, what, a month's road work?
Yes.
And he had a
So I would have thought,
walking and a month trotting.
not, you know, fairly soon he'd be able to go back to
Yep.
Mr. Warren and see, you know, see how he goes from there.
Mr. Oswald looks after the horses and keeps an eye, which is wonderful.
Mr. Warwin will be able to tell if the horse is really 100% and really sparking.
Yes.
In which case, he'll go on for a race. If he's not, or he's not himself in any way at all, then he'll just be retired.
Yes. When I feed him first thing in the morning, go in there with the feed bowl, he kicks and jumps and rushes round, and he wouldn't do that if he wasn't feeling right.
Now, is he getting that goat's milk?
He's having a pint of goat's milk every day. I go and collect it fresh, and he loves it.
Matilda, come on. Come on. Come on. Here. Come on. It's a good girl.
When Special Cargo comes into really hard training, and his diet is increased, he gets a skin trouble. It's a sort of eczema, and the goat's milk seems to put it right.
Here, Mary.
Lovely. Thank you very much. That's super.
Because he's what you call getting on a bit, which is what happens, I'm afraid. But well, you just have to see how the old legs work, you know. But he's been great, really. The horses are amazed. They're on these, I think.
Yes.
A little bit of light thing.
Yes, a bit of a change. That's a nice big horse.
This horse
That's a
is...
follower of my deep run.
What a deep
Of the and he's a very nice horse.
Because they've been so consistent, haven't they?
They have. He's very clean. You know him?
Yes.
He's got this funny dapples on the
It's
always
rather
had
nice, isn't it?
Yes.
He's always had them, isn't he?
Yeah.
I wonder where it comes from.
Yes.
It's a sort of something bred into him, I suppose.
He's such a nice horse, this.
Sun Rising, he's young. She's had very little experience. He's had one run this year. But he's my sonny boy, which I had, you know. And so we hope he's going to be all right. Oh, well, it would be nice to see him again.
Wouldn't it?
You ran jolly well.
Very, very good race.
I think he ran a very good race. And the second time out, you see, isn't it?
Well, yes. You might get that Cheltenham around.
I... Third...
We told him that, Cheltenham. We got to go to Cheltenham.
You told him about that.
We told him that. That's what we wanted. Yeah, it's blowing a bit more today. It seems to be blowing more today. Did it Canton as well?
Pretty sticky, too.
It is very sticky, man. The frost coming out makes it that way, so it sticks to the feet, doesn't it? It's blowing more today. Did it Canton?
Well, I know.
It went no gallop and then it turned into a bit of a sprint.
I know. I know, turned into some sprints.
It did a lot of that, yes, and the other horse just turned it first. I wanted another 6 or 7 strides, he would have won.
I think so.
Well, there we go, yes.
Hello. Very
He's a real gentleman.
He is, isn't he?
Whole station is beginning to show a bit of life now, out here.
Yes, thank goodness, after all this long, long
They
time.
won't let me see him because he gets excited when I go.
Oh, does he?
I'm barred until he runs.
Oh, how very funny. He's just longing to get going, I suppose. Well, I hope we manage to get a run into it somehow.
He looks a lot better with his clip. I should think he runs next week or something, I think.
Probably why they haven't him clipped.
Are there a lot of entries this week?
Well, it's a good entry sheet. Sandown is a very good card, you know.
Yes.
I hope we could have one for the Queen Mother there, because she likes Sandown.
Because, yeah.
There's a long way to there, 3 miles.
It's a suitable course.
I ring the Queen Mother about plans when we've got some runners, and she talks about it, and we come to some final decision. She likes to see horses run if she can. 1 or 2 of the Queen Mothers ought to go in there.
Oh, good.
Racing on Saturday is definitely on, and Queen Elizabeth will arrive at midday, and the party will consist of Martin and Michael and Angela Oswald, and if they could be booked in for lunch, please.
Saturday morning, first thing I would do is check the horse, check his shoes, plates, his racing plates. Then depending what time I'm racing, I'd be up in my tight room, packing. I pack all the colours and take them racing, and bring them back. My wife washes and prepares them for the next day out.
Well, now the racing news in both today's national hunt meetings at Nottingham and Windsor have survived early morning.
Well, steeplechasing to me means excitement and the thrill of jumping fences at speed.
Everything right, Simon?
When you're looking at the race, you have to know the other horse's form, let alone your horse's form. So it's very wise to study the form of the other horses. I flick through the Sporting Life and weigh the race up. Once you're at the races, it's just a matter of getting on with the job in hand.
I break into a cold sweat occasionally, because I know I've left out a roller or done something, and then the first thing you do is pull up, get out, check your tag, and ring back, ring Mr. Walton.
Every time I was going racing, I used to meet an old lady who lived in Lambourne, and I used to think she was bad luck, things used to go wrong. So in the end, I'd make a point of driving round Lambourne the opposite way, not to find her.
When we first heard the Queen Mother was sending her horses to us, when Major Catlett died, it was a great honour.
When you put on the blue and buff colours, it's a sense of pride. I would say that every jockey riding would love to ride for the Queen Mother. I'm lucky that I'm one of the few who have ridden for her, and to be associated with such good horses.
Second, and first romance is there.
Oh, well, of course I read Sporting Life. Get my day-to-day news. And a little gossip. It was always great fun. Oh, it's one likes to keep in touch.
It's a very handy place for breaking in young ones.
And plenty of room, too.
And plenty of room and nice and quiet.
Exactly.
And then they can start doing a little bit of jumping over poles.
That's the way it starts, isn't it? Before getting to bigger things. Orchid Wilson, oh, he's splendid. For years he's looked after one or two of the young horses, an occasional broken down one. And they do very well. He's a great character. I think he has a touch of Irish in him. You need a lot of patience for this game, don't you? We don't want any kicking. Well, I know, but patience is the word, isn't it, for these young ones, really? Well, I think they're looking very well. It's a long job, breeding National Hunt. It's very long term. It takes a long time. But it's worth it, you know. It's going to make a great difference now that so many more fillies are running. It'll help the future. Having somebody who's won a race, actually, to breed from, which it used to be rare, wasn't it, in the National Hunt? It's all going on.
Good afternoon.
Dogs as well.
Dogs are marvellous.
Oh dear, it's always happened. Thank you very much. I think we'll allow me to take the
Yes, Bastino
Yes.
and hopefully Joliet.
Oh, that'd be rather fun, wouldn't it?
Would be nice.
Yes. Let's do that. Is the idea to go down?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Oh, yes. This way?
No, straight ahead, ma'am. And then we're going to go round the park
I thought...
and have a look.
They're very friendly, isn't it?
What I think he's been looking forward to is the carrots.
Oh, the carrots. That's good afternoon.
Yeah.
No.
He caught a glimpse of them early,
Yes,
and
your
so he knew the carrots were here.
He's looking well.
Yes,
my word,
he's
isn't he?
loving the snow.
Yes. Does he have a roll?
He has a roll, and he just loves the snow.
He's such a lovely horse, isn't he? What do you think of
Oh, oh,
a lovely roll in the snow? I suppose it's just what does them good, doesn't it? Really. You know, knows where it's coming from, too.
There are, in fact, 3 relatively small stud farms belonging to the Queen: Sandringham, Wolferton, and Polhampton. Sandringham and Wolferton each house 1 top-class stallion, Shirley Heights here and Bastino at Wolferton. And they also serve as the home base for the Queen's mares and foals, and for Queen Elizabeth, Queen Mother's mares and foals. If you breed a winner, there's far more excitement and thrill about doing that than if you simply buy the horse. Bastino was a very good racehorse, without any doubt the best of his generation. He won the St. Leger. He should have won the Derby, really. He had won a rather unsatisfactory race and finished 4th in the Derby. But he did beat Snow Knight, who won the Derby, on every other occasion they met. Shirley Heights won the Derby in 1978. And he was a very good horse, a very tough horse, lazy horse. but he always stuck his neck out in a finish. And I think he won 3 of his last 4 victories in photo finishes, including the Derby and the Irish Derby. He didn't retire to stud, looked on as the most glamorous Derby winner of recent years, but he certainly proved to be a phenomenally successful stud. So is Bastino. They both produce an awful lot of winners, and their offspring have each won over £1.5 million. We also use Raynham for horses resting from national hunt racing, walking wounded, horses that have had things done to their legs, and also what we would call the stalls, that is 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds waiting to go into training for jump racing.
It's very important for steeplechasers that have been racing all through the winter that they should be able to be turned out in the spring, enjoy the spring grass, let down, relax, and really enjoy themselves and have just a period of holiday.
Raynham's marvellous for the young horses and for the invalids. You know, the legs go there, and they're marvellously looked after. It's lovely and quiet and beautiful paddocks. They get every attention, and the legs seem to do very well. Recovery comes, which is great.
Special Cargo, he's a great favourite. He's had some appalling leg trouble and ended with a major operation which involved a carbon fibre implant into the tendons of both his forelegs. And so far, that seems to have worked. He's a quite remarkable horse and a brilliant horse at Sandown. He loves that long hill. I think he's only been beaten twice at Sandown out of 8 or 9 starts.
And it's Special Cargo clear of Burnt Oak in second place, and Special Cargo comes up to the post, well clear of Burnt Oak and Manton Castle, and up the line, Special Cargo's going to win it. Special Cargo is the winner, Burnt Oak second.
Special Cargo, he's a great steeplechaser, one of the easiest rides you could ever wish for, especially around this course. He knows the course better than most amateur jockeys, certainly I do. He always put his best effort round the front side just before he gets to the stands. He's a bit of I think he's a bit of a prima donna in a way. And the famous Sandown Hill after the last, he always seems to run up that hill better than any other horse I know.
Gerald Oxley now getting a challenge out of Special Cargo. Burnt Oak can find no more. The Special Cargo responds to pressure, and Special Cargo goes to the front, and Special Cargo's going to get there. At the line, Special Cargo wins it. Burnt Oak is second.
Another very thrilling race was the 1986 meeting. Gerald Oxley had a broken leather, I think 4 fences out, rode the last 3 fences with his feet out of the irons, and with this marvellous old horse knowing exactly where the winning post is, just got up to beat Major Eldred Wilson's Prydal in another very thrilling finish.
Race down towards the final fence. It's Prydal by some 2 to 3 lengths. The Special Cargo in second place, and at the last, Prydal jumps it boldly and well. So do the Special Cargo. And now can he finish up the hill? Special Cargo going in pursuit of Prydal, who's already holding on. But Special Cargo is running. Special Cargo is sticking his neck out. Prydal just having it up towards the line. And Special Cargo gets there in a photo for me.
Poor old horse, he really has been in the wars, but now, touch wood, he's as good as ever. And he may or may not run in the 1987.
Zippy's at the front.
Oh, that's all right, Jack. You all right then? What's the leg?
You're short again, watch it.
Bit of top, please. Bit of top.
Yeah.
Bit of top tie. You got a tie, have you?
Yeah.
I'll borrow one for you.
No, I don't wear a tie yet.
She won't notice because she makes a fuss of you.
Put my coat over the top, then she won't.
If you get beat, she won't say anything to you.
That's all right.
Probably Simply.
Lying on your short again?
Yeah, well, you know, that, oh dear, that's typical, isn't it?
How do you feel? Special.
He'd be in good form, you know, be ready for next year's.
Just like me, though. He's getting a bit old, isn't he?
Yeah.
No legs, you know. Mine are not very good either. Great spirit, hasn't he? Well, here's to it next, whenever it is.
Grand military.
Grand military again, yeah. Cheers.
Yeah, good on. Yeah. He was a good horse before you done him. So let's hope he stays right.
He won't get beaten, will he?
Because you win, lose, or draw, she's always the same. Have a chat with her.
Yeah, well.
See too much of him.
She might like me, though.
Here's the article. Here's the article.
No. And there's Orchid.
Sandown's always a great favourite, isn't it, with everybody, I think. It's a wonderful course to see. It's always a thrill, isn't it, somehow? It's a lovely course, isn't it?
Now, there's 7 of them. 7 of them all avail. 6 of them all. I know. 7 of them all avail.
All right. Come on.
At the first, takes it just in the lead and followed by, in second place, very promising, was slipped just slightly on landing. Then the Argonaut on the inside tracking those two, and Ocrabora up on the outside. But it's Desert Orchid after the first two, going on now by 2 or 3 lengths. Desert Orchid followed by very promising, jumping in second place, then the Argonaut and Ocrabora. So Desert Orchid being well held in the early part of the race by very promising, though, from this very much informed stable of David Nicholson's in second. Right behind is the Argonaut, whose owner, the Queen Mother, is here this afternoon at the now rain-lashed Sandown Park to watch this fellow run. And still just last to the quartet is Ocrabora. Now they're making their way towards the pond fence for the first time. Desert Orchid the grade making it still, followed by very promising. Then in the buff and light blue stripes black cap of the Argonaut in third, and finally Ocrabora. Now to the first of the open ditches, fence number 6 of the 17. Desert Orchid stood right back, jumped it well. In second place, very promising. Then the Queen Mothers, the Argonaut, Stuart Shilson third, and finally comes Eamon Murphy on Ocrabora. So these 3 principals still led by Desert Orchid, who's yet to be headed. He's made all so far. Now they're running towards the final 3 fences in this Holston Export Lager handicap chase. Desert Orchid the grey still out in front. They jumped this one well, half a length down they were to Desert Orchid. The Argonaut still well there in contention in third. Now the pressure's going to be on as they race round the home turn and come to the second from home. Just 2 to go here at Sandown. Desert Orchid the grey is going to jump it first. He does, from very promising. Now the Argonaut's being produced for his effort. He'll be challenging over on the inside of Desert Orchid. The cheers go up from the stands. This is going to be another nail-biting finish. Desert Orchid being pressed now by the Argonaut. Desert Orchid over first. The Argonaut second. Very promising. He's not going to win this one. He's back in third. And the Argonaut coming with a great run, but he's not going to catch Desert Orchid. Desert Orchid is going to reappear with a win once more, like he did 2 seasons ago. Up the line and at the post is Desert Orchid the winner. In great style, here's Prick. The Argonaut is second. Very promising third. And Ocrabora has just jumped the last fence now. He'll come home to take 4th place prize money.
The Argonaut, he's a New Zealander, and he settled down very well. Seemed to be doing all right. He's just met one better than him this year, once or twice. So that's how it goes, isn't it, really?
Captain Charles Radcliffe is one of these remarkable people who is a sort of backroom boy at National Hunt Racing. He breaks horses in, and he sorts their problems out. And I believe last winter or the winter before, there were over 90 wins in National Hunt Racing, which were by horses that had been through his hands. He was a great solver of problems and a great teacher of young horses.
Whoa, man. Whoa, fella.
I mean, this horse always used to be very clumsy as a foal in the yearling.
Was he?
Oh,
Yeah.
terribly clumsy. I mean, he'd get his legs in a tangle in it if he possibly could.
Pretty good going, Michael, isn't he?
He
Don't you think?
is. I mean, he's improving all the time. He's a bit weak behind the saddle still.
Yeah, he is.
But I mean,
Yes.
that'll take a while. But he's getting stronger and stronger.
Yes, I think you're right. I think you're right. Whoa, the gal. Whoa, the pet. Run the other way now. We have Queen Elizabeth horses at 2 and 3 years old. Break them in, and then they probably go back to Sandringham, and then they probably come back here again later. We teach them to jump before ever they go on to Fruit Warwick. Whoa, the gal. Whoa, the lady. Where's the good gal? What's it all about then?
Are these the lights on?
Yes, sir.
The Argonaut,
The little Argonaut.
he was clipped today. He's come out well, hasn't he?
Very well. Look very smart. What sort of going does he like, then? Soft?
No. Good.
So he could... Is he ready?
Yes, pretty well, but he's not on this one.
Everything all right tonight? How were they?
Yes, they're all right. No, nothing wrong at all.
Oh, good. That is a relief, I must say.
Yes.
How did the Argonaut look?
He didn't change much.
Oh, good.
Good.
And what about special cargo?
Special's fine.
Is he country country yet?
We're going to start tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Oh, good.
Yes, because he's been on the roads. He's been on the roads a lot there with Mary. And,
yeah. Because we might try and get a run into him before Sundown this year.
Well, I know.
We
I
say
think-
that every year, but we never get round to it.
Oh.
It'll be much easier for him, won't it, if we can get
It would
it?
if we could get a race, pre-race for him. There you go, boy, isn't it?
Yeah, right, yeah.
He ran a new breed, a 3-mile chase, and ran extremely well. And I think the old horse is in very good form. This is a bit hotter Gold Cup than it's probably ever been. But I think this old horse is just as good as he was last year, or a bit better. So I'm fairly confident.
Very unusual, except for their Gold Cup, isn't it?
Makes
It's
it
rather fun, isn't it?
very exciting.
Oh, very.
Yeah.
And lost the going. It's not too bad.
Not
is
too
it?
bad, no. Well, time will tell.
No.
Hope his legs turn out okay. He looks a picture anyway.
Dear old boy.
Doesn't he?
He does enjoy his
Yeah,
racing,
yeah.
you know, which is a great thing.
He's back at home again.
Yes, exactly.
Hope he remembers the hill.
I do hope so.
Best of luck.
Very important.
Well, of course, he is 14 years old, and no horse has ever won the Grand Military Gold Cup 4 times. And he's got some pretty formidable rivals. Burnt Oak, trained by David Nicholson, who also trains Princess Anne's horse. I mean, I should be thrilled if he gets in the first 3.
And they're off, and this horse now, Grand Military Gold Cup. They've got 22 fences to jump, and Burnt Oak on the outside of special cargo disputed as they come down to the first fence, and Burnt Oak led there, knocked the Quillier up on the very wide outside. They're all safely over the first, and so it's Burnt Oak in the lead from, in second place, Wyford. Then making ground into third is White Paper. At the rear of the field, Treasurer's Rag made a slight mistake, and Burnt Oak leads from, in second place, White Paper, then Wyford up there disputing third, Dr. Quillier jumping mid-division at this stage. The horse that made a mistake there was Naughty Niece. This is the open ditch, and it's Burnt Oak in the lead. From Wyford in second place, White Paper third, Turn Blue fourth, Knockhill 5, Mary Venture in 6th, Dargoy 7th, then Special Cargo making ground on the inside of Knocknaquillia. But the Queen Mother's horse has passed Princess Anne's own horse, Knocknaquillia, who's now tiring, and so they swing right-handed and out into the country for the final time. And it's Burnt Oak in the lead. Burnt Oak shows the way to Wyford in second, Mary Venture is in third, Turn Blue 4, White Paper 5, Dark Eye 6th, Knockhill Racing 7th, and Special Cargo starts to make ground now in the light blue and buff jacket, starting to make ground as he normally does, goes through into 4th place. They come down towards the pond fence, and Burnt Oak out in the lead from Special Cargo now comes through into 2nd place, and Special Cargo still continues to make ground. Knocknaquillia for Princess Anne is continuing, but it's tailed off. They've got 2 to jump, and it's Burnt Oak in the lead. Burnt Oak clear from, in 2nd place, Mary Venture, and then Knockhill. Special Cargo now back in 4th place with oh so much to do, and they come down towards the final fence. It's Burnt Oak just did well. Burnt Oak was over safely clear. At the post, Burnt Oak is going to win it. Burnt Oak well clear from Mary Venture in 2nd, Knockhill 3rd, and Special Cargo a gallant 4th, finishing 5 is White Paper.
He won the race in 84, 85 and 86. And now he's an old horse, 14. It was really his first-class effort. I mean, they went a terrific gallop. Some really good horses in the race. He jumped beautifully and finished like a train. Almost got, just beaten out of 3rd place on the nod. Almost got it.
Well ridden.
He'll go into retirement now, and a long and happy and well-deserved retirement.
Well done.
Oh, he ran a good race.
Okay, girl.
I know.
Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, the owner of Burnt Oak, Brigadier Roscoe Harvey.
For her, racing should be fun. And she does help to make it fun for a great many other people. Somebody once described her as one of life's enhancers. And she certainly does enhance racing to a great, considerable degree.
I'm lovely. I'm so glad. Very good. Very great thrill.
I made them myself.
It was a great gathering. Old people who'd ridden a horse for me. It was great fun. They all looked very well and survived, which is a great thing. It was lovely to see them again, it really was. And so, of course, going quite a long way back to quite old days. And everybody looking
Just the same, do you think? I didn't know.
Same, yeah.
Feel about the same.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. Yes, Bonus Cross has been very exciting.
Yes,
keep our fingers crossed for him. He seems in good form.
Is he in good form?
Yes, he might go to captain on Boxing Day, I hope. Yes.
Well, that'd
God
be
love
very
him.
exciting. It's always an exciting race,
Oh,
there,
it is, isn't it? Yes. They're here, ma'am. Yes.
They are.
Yes, that's right.
Yes. Nice to see you again.
It really is. Street, all fair-lawn days and
Yes, I
to here as well.
I know.
It really is.
They were great, weren't they?
Lots of old really fun
lovely
memories.
days.
Sin Charon and Black Magic.
Yes, I know. So all the names were
Lovely times, lovely times.
Lovely to see you.
And you, ma'am. Are you well?
Yes, thank you. Very
How's your leg?
absolutely cured. Yes,
That's good.
couldn't be better.
Haven't got a pin for you.
No, not yet. They're hanging on. No, that's very good, yes. Lovely you could be here.
I know, isn't it lovely? I know.
I know, yes.
I know, came in
Goodness,
from Ireland.
I often think of that day, but it was great fun.
It was. And every time I go to Downpatrick, I'm reminded of it.
I often think of it, that is, because all the extraordinary things that happened to him.
A lot of people thought that you hadn't won. you
I
see,
know.
It was very close,
because
was
of
it?
the
Yes.
loose horse.
Oh, was it?
It was a loose
Oh, I
horse, you
see.
see. It is a real sporting thing still, isn't it, National Hunt? I was thinking the other day, it must be about 80% disappointment, or more perhaps. But yeah, that makes up, doesn't it, when you do get a winner? I think it's well worth it. Oh, it's great sport, isn't it?
To make their way down to Beeches. The first ditch is number 3. Beeches is number 6. They pass John Hanmer's area, reach Julian Wilson's here at Beeches, number 6. Then they jump what is euphemistically termed a small fence, and after that the canal turn, number 8, then Valentine's, number 9, then ditches 11 and 12. They're in John Hanmer's area then back across the Melling Road onto the racecourse, and they race down towards the chair, which is down there in front of us, number 15. 5'2" with a 6-foot ditch on the takeoff side. Then the water, number 16, with its 12-foot span. And then it's another complete circuit. And for the benefit of my colleagues out in the country, let me just mention that there's a change of cap for Northern Bay. Now wears a grey cap with black spots. And Dortmore, which you all have been expecting in light green, is in fact a very dark green, and his rider, Tony Mullins, has been repeatedly losing his cap, so if he arrives with a black cap, don't be too surprised. He's got his cap on at the moment, and there he is nearest to us, walking with Lannerai and the crossbelts. But here, facing us now with a white face there was Corbier. This is plundering in the hearts of Mrs. Miles Valentine, so readily identifiable as Corbier in the background there. And a very emotional moment that as a prelude to the National, when there is the change of colours there on the right, Northern Bay. This is Park Ivy, the grey walking left. Glen Rue, number 13, with the cross belts. That's Dark Ivy walking right now. Corbier just ahead of him, the previous winner, running his last National, running his 5th National. The winner with Ben de Haan, of course, himself in 1983. Ben riding his 6th National. A 27-year-old. There's Glen Rue with his back to us there left. You'll see Britt spot that cross of Lorraine on the back of Alan Jones, the tallest rider in the race, 6'2½", and the smallest horse. And there, of course, the previous winner. You'll spot him, West Tip, number 3, and Richard Dunwoody, riding in his 3rd National, 23 years old, 60 winners this season. That's Little Polver walking right, followed by Inshaw, then Glen Rue, then You're Welcome in the Aldeniti colours, Bright Dream, Mari Venture in Mr. Jim Gills colours. That's Smith's Man. The other grey, apart from Dark Ivy, Smith's Man, ridden by Mark Perrott, riding in his 2nd National, 24 years old. And the cheers you'll have heard there for Aldeniti going off course. The stripes there, those of High Harry, Mickey Flynn, 22 years old, one of many riding in his 1st National. There on his inside you'll see Dortmore and Tony Mullins. He has lost his cap again. He's given it up. It looks as though he's just got a black cap, number 17 there. That's his skull cap. On his inside there on the left is West Tip. Dortmore, one of the 4 horses in the race, has never yet fallen. That's Brit on the right. There's Run to Me. This is the Elia and Irish champion for so long, Frank Berry, 36 years old, riding in his 7th national, 8 times Irish champion, identifiable with the sheepskin noseband. Jackie Oliver walking right there. Spot the white colours, the black cross belts. Jackie has just won on Aonach. 23 years old. And bidding, of course, to become the first lady rider to win this great chase. The 40 runners wheeling now before Michael Sayers, the starter, who's celebrating his 64th birthday in unusual style by endeavoring to dispatch these horses in one line. Walking away from us there, Run to Me, and one of the senior riders in the race, Richard Mitchell, 39, riding in his 2nd national. 21 there is Lannerai, and the youngest rider, 20-year-old Guy Landor, riding in his 1st national. Little Polver walking right there. The stars there on the colour of Gala Prince, Tim Jarvis. Those check colours there on Cranelome. Bright Dream, this is walking towards us. Spot the dark colours and the light star. That's Inshore walking right. He's got a white face, striped sleeves on his rider. One of the 3 trained by Fred Winter. Already, of course, successful both as a brilliant pilot and as a trainer. And the atmosphere getting very tense now as this very high wind buffets the runners who'll shortly be setting off on their 4-mile-plus journey and 30 fences. That's Plundering Centre, Brown Vale nearest to us, number 36. The Zarovich going up there, number 10. Partly owned by the chairman of the sponsoring group and the starter. Calling them in now, and that's it, they're away to a first-timer and streaming down across the Melling Road. Corbiere is one of the first to show, the 83 winner, and it's Corbiere from Inshore and Plundering. Northern Bay on the outside, with right up there with them, Valencio for Czechoslovakia, and as they come to the Melling Road, it's Corbiere, Plundering, Inshore, Valencio and Lannerai, and we join them at the first with John Hanmer.
And Corbiere, one of the leaders. Then Valencio, then comes Classified, and over the first, and the leaders have jumped it safely, but Lucky Roo is a faller towards the back, and another faller was Smart Side. So Smart Side and Lucky Roo down at the first. I can't see another faller as Lannerai leads over the second, and right out the back is the Elia and Daltmore, but they've all jumped the second safely as they come to the third. It's Lannerai from Inshore, Northern Bay, then Eamon's Owen on the inside, then Attitude Adjuster, and Brown Tricks as a faller towards the outside there. Going to the next fence, and Inshore right up with Lannerai. And Glenrue another faller at the ditch, but they're all over the fourth with the Elia and Daltmore still the back markers as we join Julian Wilson.
Lannerai is right up there and Classified in a prominent position as they come to the fifth. Lannerai jumps it in front. Lannerai, the leader, close behind the leaders is You're Welcome. Inshore is in a good position in second place as they run down to Beecher's Brook with Lannerai, the leader, from Inshore. Then You're Welcome. And then Northern Bay as they come to Beecher's for the first time. And Lannerai rises first. Inshore is over, makes a bad mistake. Attitude Adjuster makes a bad mistake. Bewley's Hill is down, and Dark Ivy is down. Dark Ivy and Bewley's Hill were the 2 fallers of Beecher's as they jump the seventh. Lannerai from Big Brown Bear on the inside. Lannerai from Big Brown Bear. In third place is Northern Bay. Behind Northern Bay is Eamon's Owen. Then You're Welcome towards the outside, and then Inshore, who made that mistake at Beecher's, as they jump the canal turn. With Big Brown Bear over from Lannerai in second. Northern Bay is third. You're Welcome is fourth. Then Eamon's Owen behind that, and Attitude Adjuster, then Plunderer and Classified over that one, which was Valentine's Brook, and all the leaders over it as we rejoin John Hanmer.
And Big Brown Bear is in the lead from Classified, and then on the outside is Northern Bay and Lannerai, and then You're Welcome and Eamon's Owen, and then Attitude Adjuster. And they're all over that, the back markers are High Harry and the Elia, Daltmore and Run to Me. Meanwhile, the leaders at the next, Big Brown Bear from Northern Bay. Then Lanarei is next, then comes Your Welcome. Behind him is Eamon's Owen. Then Preben Fair, Attitude Adjuster and Classified. Then Why Forget, the Tsarevich and Plundering. And then West Tip and Corbiere and Maori Venture. And there followed on the inside by Smith's Man, on the outside by Tracy Special. Then comes Bright Cream, Colonel Christie. Then Brown Tricks, then Mononor. And behind Mononor, Cranlone. And right out the back still are Brett, the Elia, High Harry, Le Bambino and Daltmore as we join Peter O'Sullivan.
And it's Big Brown Bear on the inside, Lanarei on the far side, Northern Bay between horses. Just in behind them comes Your Welcome, and then Eamon's Owen travelling strongly, and Inshaw's just in behind them. But it's Big Brown Bear and Lanarei as they come down to the next. Big Brown Bear and Lanarei matching strides as they come to it. Eamon's Owen going very well on the outside, Northern Bay right up with them. Your Welcome's just in behind the lead. Racing down to the next, and this is the one before the chair. And as they come to it, it's Big Brown Bear, Northern Bay, Lanarei and Eamon's Owen. Your Welcome and Attitude Adjuster just in behind them. Then comes Classified, coming down now to the chair. And as they come to it, it's Big Brown Bear, Northern Bay, Lanarei. Behind them come Eamon's Owen. Then's Your Welcome, Attitude Adjuster and Insure and the Tsarevich, and at the chair, Big Brown Bear lands in the lead. Before there's Eamon's Owen, Jackie Oliver's gone, coming down to the water, and it's Big Brown Bear in the lead. In second place is Lanarei, and third is Northern Bay. Then comes Your Welcome. Behind Your Welcome is Classified, Insure and Attitude Adjuster, then Plundering on the inside. West Tip is very close then. And as they swing left-handed, it's Lanarei and Big Brown Bear disputing it ahead of Northern Bay and Your Welcome. Then comes Inshore. Little Polver went at the chair. On the inside then comes West Tip making steady progress with Classified and the Tsarevich. Behind them comes Smith's Man, and then Mononor making progress from the rear. They cross the Melling Road. Lanarei, Big Brown Bear, Inshore towards the outside with Your Welcome, and Northern Bay well up there and over to John Hanmer.
And Big Brown Bear on the inside disputes the lead with Northern Bay. Then Lanarei towards the centre of the fence, and Lanarei just about landed in front of Your Welcome. Then Northern Bay, then West Tip just tracking the leaders. Big Brown Bear on the inside, Plundering. Maori Venture getting closer than the Tsarevich as Lanarei leads over that. And no fallers at that one yet, and the back marker still going over Drumlargen right at the back. As they come to the 19th, the big ditch preceded by two loose horses. It's Lanarei. Le Bambino has refused. All the leaders over the ditch safely, and it's Lanarei from Big Brown Bear. Then Northern Bay, Your Welcome, Attitude Adjuster. Then Insure, Maori Venture. Then the Tsarevich, West Tip, and Classified as we join Julian Wilson. Drumlargen's refused.
Lanarei still clear. Your Welcome there in the centre. Attitude Adjuster going really well. Towards the inside, Big Brown Bear is right up there with them as they come towards the one before the Beechers. Lanarei, Big Brown Bear jumped it in second place. In the centre, Attitude Adjuster with Your Welcome. Towards the outside, Preben Furze making a bit of ground as they run down to Beechers for the second time. Lanarei, Big Brown Bear on the inside, Attitude Adjuster with the blinkers, and they jump Beechers. Lanarei makes a mistake, gets away with it. All the leaders over Beechers for the second time, with Big Brown Bear on the inside from Lanarei. West Tip creeps up into third place, just in front of Attitude Adjuster as they come to the 23rd fence. Big Brown Bear over that, all over Beechers they were. Big Brown Bear from Lanarei now taking the lead again on the outside. Lanarei is from Big Brown Bear and West Tip, then Attitude Adjuster and Your Welcome. Then Northern Bay and Classified on the inside, and the Tsarevich as they come to the canal turn. Lanarei over it from Big Brown Bear, West Tip in third, Attitude Adjuster, then Your Welcome and Northern Bay, then the Tsarevich. And one who's unseated his rider there was Classified. Classified has unseated his rider as they jump Valentine's. And back to John Hanmer.
And Lanarei is in the lead with Attitude Adjuster second, then Big Brown Bear, Your Welcome, West Tip, Northern Bay, Maori Venture, the Tsarevich, and Tracy Special, and then comes Plundering, and then Smith's Man, and I've got to look a long way back to the others, but going to the last ditch, Four from Home, and Attitude Adjuster being driven up to challenge Lanarei. Then in third place, Big Brown Bear, then Your Welcome, West Tip, Maori Venture, the Tsarevich, Tracy Special, and then Northern Bay. Then comes plundering Smith's man Monanor, Marcolo a faller. And as they go to the third last, it's Lanarai from Attitude Adjuster, then Big Brown Bear, then comes Your Welcome, West Tip, Maori Venture, the Tsarevich, then Tracy Special, Northern Bay, plundering Smith's man and Monanor, but back to the leaders, and it's Lanarai from Attitude Adjuster, Your Welcome, West Tip, Maori Venture, and Big Brown Bear and the Tsarevich, and over to Peter O'Sullivan.
And still a wide open race with Lanarai and 20-year-old Guy Landor in the lead from Attitude Adjuster on the inside. West Tip is under pressure now. Then comes Your Welcome on the outside. Maori Ventures making ground. And now it's still Lanarai as they come down to the second last. Lanarai with the advantage from Maori Venture going second. Your Welcome third. Then comes the Tsarevich in fourth, and behind them Attitude Adjuster. Lanarai lands in the lead. Maori Venture is second. They're racing now towards the final fence, and it's Lanarai from Maori Venture. The Tsarevich under pressure, and then Your Welcome at the final fence. And Lanarai lands in the lead from Maori Venture. The Tsarevich is third. Four is Your Welcome. Five West Tip. They're racing towards the elbow, and it's Lanarai being challenged by Maori Venture towards the stand side. The Tsarevich towards the far side. The Tsarevich with his white face on the far side. Maori Venture taking it up now. It's Maori Venture on the near side by half a length from the Tsarevich as they race up towards the line. Maori Venture is going to win the National as they come to the line. Maori Venture has won it for 92-year-old Jim Joel. Second is the Tsarevich. Third is Lanarai. Fourth is West Tip. And then comes Your Welcome and Tracy Special and the Elia, and behind them Mona Noor and Northern Bay and Smith's Man and Attitude Adjuster and Corbiere. And congratulations there from Lanarai's rider, 20-year-old Guy Landor, to Steve Knight riding his second national. 32-year-old Steve Knight succeeds for Mr. Jim Joel, the oldest patron of national hunt racing and flat racing in Great Britain, who made such fine amends, this horse, for the first fence fall of Dorlatch in 1986. Maori Venture has won the national, and the full official result. First, number 5, Maori Venture, owned by Mr. Jim Joel, trained by Andrew Turnell and ridden by Steve Knight. Second, number 10, the Tsarevich, owned by Major Ivan Straker, trained by Nicky Henderson, ridden by John White. Third, number 21, Lanarai, owned by Mrs. Bill Tullock, trained by Stan Meller, ridden by Guy Landor. And third, the favorite, number 3, fourth, the favorite, number 3, West Tip, owned by Mr. Peter Luff, trained by Michael Oliver, ridden by Richard Dunwoody. And what irony that last year Mr. Joel made the effort to come here to Liverpool to see Dorlatch fall at the first, and this year he's in Cape Town and doesn't even return to England tomorrow. May he hopefully have heard the broadcast and have heard the realization of one of his most cherished ambitions in racing. A fine effort by Steve Knight and by Andy Turnell, whose father, Bob Turnell, came so near to winning when Cloncarrig capsized at a critical stage behind Freebooter in the 1950s. A marvelous moment for young Andy, and recompense to Maori Venture's owner Jim Joel for having stuck by the young trainer when his father died, and how well he's done him. And this is the Tsarevich coming in ahead, who nearly realized a fantastic dream for Ivan Straker, chairman of the firm which came to the rescue of the National when its future was in the balance. Steve Knight, on only his second ride in the world's greatest steeplechase, 32 years old, returns to that coveted winner's circle. The distance is 5 lengths and 4 lengths.